you're not going to be remembered for your producing credit. If the movie sucks, no one's going to even make it to the credits. No one's going to make it to the movie theater. No one's going to have their butt in the seat watching the film, right? Today we're going to be looking at this article from Collider. It talks about Daisy Ridley and her expectations for the character Rey in the upcoming episode 10 movie, which is supposed to be about Rey leading a new Jedi Order. Don't know how that's going to work out. Everything seems to get canceled, so we'll see. From Collider, the article is titled, "I certainly have been very involved. Daisy Ridley reveals her hands-on approach to her new Star Wars movie." Daisy Ridley may have gotten her start in acting in the early 2000s with small roles in various shorts and TV shows, but it wasn't until 2015 that she stepped into the role that would change her life forever, and rightfully so. Star Wars changes everything, and I remember they rocketed to stardom. Her, Finn, Kylo, well, the actors' names at least. Ridley led a new generation of Star Wars stories as Rey, first in The Force Awakens, but also appearing in The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. After the controversial reception to The Rise of Skywalker, most thought that we'd never see Rey again. I kind of thought that too. Kind of not sure why we're seeing her again. I don't think this is what the fans are asking for, but that's the situation we've been dealt with. During a recent interview with Collider, Ridley spoke about her involvement behind the camera as a potential producer in the upcoming Star Wars flick, as well as how things are different this time around. So let's see how things are different here. What do you got, Daisy? I don't know that I'd be a producer on it, but I certainly have been very involved. I'm involved, well, not very involved, but I'm involved in as much as I know what's going on. I know the story. I know what's going on with the script, so I'm aware of all of that. And I think what's been really wonderful over the last few years is being more involved from start to finish, really coming to set to knowing this is the absolute best way we can tell this story. Now, this is interesting because for those of you who don't remember, Rey, Daisy, she didn't know what her origin was going to be basically up until the last minute. We thought she was going to be a Kenobi, then she thought she was going to be a Palpatine, then in episode 8 she was a nobody, which I think was the best outcome, right? And maybe it is better that she'll be more involved, but I don't really know what her personal feelings are, her knowledge is on Star Wars, and I think that could be very telling for content like this. These are the best actors for the job. This is the best crew for the job. Having that confidence is so lovely. And it's not that I didn't have that before, but I'm much more cognizant of it now. And rightfully so, she was much younger at the time, and perhaps dealing with big directors like J.J. Abrams maybe starstruck her a little bit. Maybe she didn't want to step on their toes as this was her first big break. So in that way, I'm looking forward to turning up, really knowing the ins and outs of what the journey has been. And we're arriving at the best absolute place to tell this particular story. And it sounds positive, right? All the stuff sounded positive from The Force Awakens, from The Last Jedi, from The Rise of Skywalker. But the problem with the films were they weren't coherent. And this came down to writing, directing. Some of the acting performances were a little bit janky here and there. And what's most concerning about this film is the new director, Charmin Obaid-Chinoy. This person who's directing the film has no experience in Star Wars. Her filmmaking extends into documentaries that make heavy political commentary. Nothing with fantasy, nothing with sci-fi, nothing relevant with action adventure, politics. So we're taking someone who's politically driven, putting them into Star Wars as if we don't already have enough of that, and giving them maybe the last chance to really capture us as an audience, it's not, look, this film is not about me. This film is not about the diehard fans like us. This film is about the common consumer. Disney's ratings have been going down. The viewership has been going down. The Disney Plus subscription numbers have been plummeting. This is about them. How do you take the average consumer who consume those movies and you bring them from their pile where they're watching like Game of Thrones or whatever and different new shows, like maybe some Marvel shows, maybe some stuff on TV. I'm not really sure what's the most popular thing right now. Love is Blind, the reality shows, whatever. So how do you take them from that pile over here and move them to the Star Wars pile over here? That's the big question for Star Wars right now. And in my personal opinion, I don't think you do that with someone who's made politically driven movies, who has no experience in Star Wars, who probably has no knowledge in Star Wars, right? One of the beauties of having someone who's knowledgeable in Star Wars directing, someone like Dave Filoni, right? For example, I know Dave Filoni is a little bit mixed right now, but there's a particular behind the scenes in The Mandalorian, I have to find it one day, I'll upload it to my channel, where he kind of corrects Jon Favreau as to like the actual canon lore for this particular scene. I'm not saying these directors have to have that kind of knowledge, but it's nice when they know or have a nice familiarity with the content itself. So Daisy sounds very excited. I'm assuming she has a leg up on a lot of the lore now that she's been involved with the content directly, but it remains to be seen how this film would be affected by the director and the writers. And how much are they going to give this director? They gave Rian Johnson, the director of The Last Jedi, a very, very long leash, almost no leash. So what kind of leash are they going to put on this director? I think they have to keep her on a short leash and a little bit close, just because we don't know what kind of movie a politically motivated director, or politically experienced director rather, is going to have on a sci-fi action adventure film. The article goes on to say it would not be in Ridley's character to bash the production and creative methods of prior Star Wars sets that she's worked on, but it certainly sounds like she's happy to be more involved with bringing Rey to life on the big screen this time. It sounds like Ridley won't earn a producer credit, but her work behind the camera is a stepping stone that will likely help her own a producing credit in the future. Look, I personally don't really care who gets what credit. Just make a good movie, all right? You're not going to be remembered for your producing credit. If the movie sucks, no one's going to even make it to the credits. No one's going to make it to the movie theater. No one's going to have their butt in the seat watching the film, right? That's not going to happen if the movie's not good. You will be more remembered if you deliver a slamming, awesome performance and the director does a fantastic job. That's what you'll be remembered for, and that's something that these people need to focus on a little bit more. Other than Daisy Ridley being confirmed to reprise her role as Rey, few details are known about the new Jedi Order movie at this time. I mean, I don't even know. It might just be canceled. I really wouldn't be surprised. Everything else gets canceled, right? Fans have speculated that Grogu, who has previously appeared in all 3 seasons of The Mandalorian and will also feature in The Mandalorian and Grogu, coming to theaters in May, blah, 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 could feature as one of Rey's pupils. But it's nothing more than speculation at this point. Yeah, I don't know. You know, I think a character like Grogu, trained by Rey, I don't know who does that training. I don't think Rey is the character that leads the Jedi into a new age. I don't see it. Like, I think you need another trilogy almost of films or another movie where she goes through some sort of training or hardship. I mean, her biggest hardship is she's left abandoned on Jakku, and that's big, like being abandoned by her parents. But other than that, she doesn't really experience any character development through loss, pain, making tough decisions like Luke did, or like Anakin did. And you know, Anakin fell to the dark side. Luke didn't fall to the dark side on account of Anakin's decisions. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. I don't know if Rey is the right character to lead the Jedi into a new generation. I don't know if Grogu's the right character either. I mean, I don't really know what the next right move is, considering where the franchise is story-wise. Episode 9 really pigeonholed themselves into a tiny, tiny speck of sand. And the possibilities and the what-ifs and the stories that come after Episode 9, it's just, no one really knows where to go. And it's been pretty damn obvious because everyone's been scared to touch that. So we'll see what happens. And, you know, I hope Daisy gets the credit she deserves, but I'm really more hopeful for an awesome performance from her, and an awesome performance from the director, and an awesome story from the writers, hopefully returning some prestige to the franchise, because lately the prestige has been taken out of Star Wars a little bit. And, you know, it takes a lot to hurt a franchise like this, but they've done some significant damage in my opinion, despite some of the successes they had. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Are you excited about this movie? What do you think about Rey leading the Jedi into a new age? Do you think she's the one to do it? And do you think this movie might be dead on arrival? And like usual, stay safe and may the Force be with you always.